the tenets of neuro-transformational coaching. That is where we want to be able to start today. And I am just going to give you just a recap, for those of you that were not with us, just a recap of what we talked about, the tenets of neuro-transformational coaching. Neuro-transformational coaching is the art of helping people create lasting transformation by understanding how their minds work, how their emotions work, how their identity works, their beliefs, their language, their habits, their nervous system. Do you see that? Like, we are looking at everything else that is happening in their lives, their mind, their emotions, their identity, their language, their beliefs, their habits, and the nervous system, so that we can be able to help them better. So you realize that we need to understand the people that we are trying to help. We need to hear them out. What are the belief systems that have kept them away from saving money? What is their language? It's impossible. Whenever you save, money just disappears, just like it finds something to do. You realize, because then you need to course correct them on nearly everything. You need to course correct them on their language. You need to course correct them on their beliefs. You need to course correct them on their identity. Like, who are you? I'm just a rejected person. A rejected person can never change their lives. So that means you need to bring them back to the right mind frame of their identity, so that now from the corrected identity, they can be able to make a better decisions. Otherwise, they cannot make decisions from a place where they have been, because then they've been making reckless decisions. That is why they have come to you. So you realize that now it is encompassing. Okay? So it's not, the coaching is not just motivation. It is not just, the inspiring and all that, the preaching. No, it is a rewiring, a reprogramming of someone's life. Yeah, it's like, wires za matala tezigata, matala tegaka. So you're going to put the wires together. You're going to kakati chi engine, kakati chi hydraulic, kakati, whatever it is, ignition has a problem. Whatever it is, you are finding, you're like, this car must move from point A to point B. Why isn't it moving? So now you are diagonizing. While you're listening to this person, you are diagonizing and say, the reason as to why the lights are not lighting, this is the reason. The reason as to why ignition has failed, this is the reason. The reason as to why gears ziga nyokwete kamu, this is the reason. From a person to move from point A to point B, gears zino kwete kamu. Do you know nafa abantu tuinamu gear? Some of us tutuka kubusozi when situations are hard. Do you know that? And what you need is to engage a gear of a higher identity, to engage a gear of what? Of another level of self-belief, to say, you know what, I can make it. If I made it the other time, I will make it again. If so-and-so can make it. So do you see that we are also like cars? So in order for someone to move from point A to point B, they must be able to you must rewire, and not just the motivation that we are thinking about and the inspiration that we are thinking about. So you are not giving advice as a coach. You are helping people interpret the old patterns, to renew their minds and to build new internal reality. Do you see that? That is what most of the problems that we are going through are interpretation problems. So you're helping them to interrupt the old, to know that, okay, this is a pattern, I've been doing it, and that is why I've not been saving, that is why my financials were low, that is why my marriage was failing, that is why my business was failing. That is an old pattern. But now I need to be able to renew my mind. What is the internal reality? The internal reality, I want my marriage to work. What must I do in order for my marriage to actually work? So, because what we are aiming at is to get them the new results. They've been dealing with old results. They've been trying in their own capacity with their old patterns. They've been saving and failing. They've been inconsistent. They've been disrespectful. Old patterns. Now they need to renew their minds and to build a new internal reality that, by the way, you cannot just speak like that and survive in this world. Do you see that? Why? Because you want their reality to change. Their results to actually change. So, in a nutshell, people come to you for change, for different results. They've been getting different results, and now they're like, if I pay her and go to her, I am going to get different results. If I watch her content, I'm going to get different results. All right? So, when a person thinks differently, they see differently, they believe differently, they behave differently. When a person thinks differently, because you're trying to trigger the mind. They're thinking different. They're seeing things from a different angle. Now they're believing it's possible. And now they behave like it is possible. Do you see that? They're like, it's actually possible to make money. It's possible to be rich. It's actually possible to live the whole life of your dreams. It's possible. Where are they getting that from? From you. You are infecting them with that. All right? And we will not go through the scripture. I'm just giving you. And then we went through identity shapes behavior. That was number 1. Identity shapes behavior. People rarely outperform the identity they believe about themselves. A person can desire wealth, confidence, marriage, visibility, healing, or success, but internally, they identify as rejected. They identify as insignificant, not important. So the moment they identify as that, believe me, there is nothing that can shift in their mind. So people cannot outperform their identities. Yeah? So be very careful when you look at someone. You should have the discernment to know how do they identify by the words they speak and everything else. You will know that, by the way, this person looks at themselves as a failure. You can see it. They look at themselves as less important. Do you know that when you look at a man and a woman, or a husband and a wife, you can see that, this wife, this wife is very insignificant. She's unimportant. By the way she behaves. Number 1, the way they dress will give them up. The kind of shoes that they came with. As in, you're showing up for a high caliber event. Your man is in a texado, as in, engato checho, akaviri keko, naye mama, gwe wazo tunula bulala. Do you see that? And you can tell that it's an identity problem. Otherwise, if their identity was rewired, they would show up different. Because they have some of them, it's not even the means, it's how they look at themselves. How they look at themselves, all right? And then we talked about number 2. And we said, as a coach, when it comes to identity, their actions will eventually align with their identity. That is how they're going to show up. And that is not, we are still on number 1. I'm still taking you back to number 1, because as a coach, you must be able to help them identify who they became because of the pain, who they became because of the abandonment. Waliola biyeko muchala agenda no mwami, and they are going for a party, but maybe the man cheated on her. Some of these things, you're going to see things and you're going to laugh, because you're going to see right through people. You're going to see right through people. And as in, tamuka aliawo, as in, she has been beaten and she feels abandoned, rejected, unloved. Totally unloved. But there is one that you will see, that even if the core wife or the core whatever it is there, and their identity is rewired, the one yamulumba yajjo kubanga yekweka. Do you see that? As in, it's like, I'm in my territory. I have not done anything to you. I will put on how I please. I will eat how I please, and I will walk how I please, and I will do anything the way I am. I am done with people pleasing. I am not people pleasing. I did that, and it ended in premium tears. And right now, I have picked up my tears. I have collected myself, and there is no bruising me again. You joke with a woman who has healed. A woman that has healed is a woman that cannot be trampled upon again. So you will see that their identity has shifted. Sometimes the things that happen to us that are so bad and so terrible, they happen to us so that they will jog our memory into reconditioning our lives. Because sometimes we take life fua. And when a storm comes, you're like, I must be strong. I really need to develop some. I'm not saying that all problems should come to you every day so that you can develop strength. No. That's not what I'm saying. But I will tell you, just like the Bible says, that some of the things that are going to come to you, they're not come to you by accident. God knows that you will go through them. He has given you the power to go through. There is nothing that comes to you that is beyond the power for you to handle it. Do you see that? But when you come out the other side, make sure that you are glittering. Don't come out the other side smelling ash. Don't come the other side while your clothes are torn and burnt. Walk through the fire like John Rambo. Yeah? The grenades are Ozibwa behind the bombs and what, but he's coming out and you're like, yeah, start tougher. Start tougher. I have arrived and I am not going back. Yeah? So that is how you must be able to make your clients feel. That you know what? There is hope against hope. Number 2, the brain repeats what is familiar. The brain is designed for survival, not for growth. Yeah? So many people stay in toxic cycles because familiarity feels safer for them. That is why people sabotage opportunities. They will, return to unhealthy relationships. They will procrastinate. They will run away from visibility. They will resist any form of change. So when you see that, by the time someone garners the strength and pays for a session and comes to you, just know that by the coming was one step. Applaud them for coming. But they can come and be very, very dishonest. They paid their money and they are not telling you their issue. Yeah, like, what you do, like seriously, they will pay their money. And they will come majestically and they will speak about all their good sides. By the way, if it's a woman and she's speaking about her marriage, she will say, I have never done anything to him. I am the best human being possible. And they will even cry some crocodile tears. And you'll be like, oh, this woman, Bambi, got married to a very bad man. Listen to the man's story. Please, listen to the man's story. You will discover a totally different kind of story. And sometimes when the man comes first, there will always be an angel. Yeah? And then when the woman comes, you're like, hey, people can make themselves. As in, so did you want help? Or you came to waste my time? Did you want help? Or you came to sweet talk me to believing in you? Do you see that? There's a difference between when you need help, you come and undress yourself. You're like, the truth is, I am the greatest cheat in the world. Even when they dress up a jerrycan, I will follow it. You're like, so now let's work at reversing that. This is how long it's going to take us. It takes a lot of work, but it is very doable. But someone will come and tell you, by the way, whatever bad they have, they will project it on their partner. They are telling you lies, but they are projecting everything on their partners. Do you see that? We have do you have a microphone? If you don't have a microphone, I am leaving you. The brain repeats what is familiar.
I have a question. Since we are talking about identity.
Yes.
And it is something that I've realized is happening in church. Because most of the time in our local churches, we don't get an opportunity of hearing this thing.
Yes.
So recently, I happened to speak to my pastor. And I'm like, Musumba, but then Saba, koleka conference kabashala. Togere ku emotional well-being. Because bino byogamba abakyala nti no tugoba emizimu. Ebintu ebimu.
Sibi akugoba mizimu.
Yeah. So I talked to my pastor. So we do the conference. Women attended. Like
you did the conference?
Yes, myself. I arranged everything.
Okay.
Women attended. The session went on very well. I got to realize that abakyala baalabuka. So conference weyagwa, I'm like, Musumba kakati ola wano wetutuuse badde nsaba olulala tuleeteyo ne bakansala kuba bano abakyala abasinga, because this is my pastor, I met him in Turkey. But when we were in Turkey, most of these women in Turkey didn't get married because they were ready for marriage. Naye omanye Bulaya, there's that place where you're in and you want someone akusasulira ku bill.
Yes.
So you get married. Kati abalinga abadde eno with their spouses. Buli omu abeera bibye. Abamu bayawukanira ku airport. Now, the reason as to why I'm asking, so recently this pastor friend of mine yangamba, Joan, lekera okulabula abantu bange. And I feel like
I saw that coming.
I feel like these people are perishing. There's a mindset that they have. There's a time I went there, they had a session. It was a Tuesday. Let's get into these things of teaching these people
how to work,
skills.
how to make money. I
feel like it's not working. But me, I felt like it was not right because
Pastor yakola
Pastor yanyigira. Yangamba
pastor wo.
Navayo.
Okay.
But he's my friend.
I know. Yeah.
Yangamba nti abantu be mbakola ki.
Obalabula, obabuusa.
But me, I feel like
endiga zino sigala nga ndiga.
These people, most of them have been abroad. Naye balowoozanga ab'ekyanda mukaaka.
Kyekyo.
Like omuntu nga tatukangako mu Kampala.
Talabangako ku mataala.
Osanga omuntu nga amanyi mu nsi alina kubeera mufumbo. That is the end of the world. N'alinda okufa n'okuzaala abaana.
Ate yafumbirwa.
So ever Monday to Sunday babeera mu kugoba mizimu.
Gigenda jjo.
Najjo gy'abavaako.
Mbwe mizimu gy'abavaako. Naye Joani. Nti emizimu gy'abavaako.
No, coach, my question is because I have people that I've met in this place that I'm trying so much because I'm telling them, you guys, we go when you meet Dr. Bahati. I feel like she's going to help you better than me. Like, how can I talk to these women? Because me, I feel like they can do better than where they are
right now.
Yes.
But you realize this is exactly the tenet that we are talking about that says that the brain repeats what is familiar. What is familiar looks safe to them. So now they end up self-sabotaging. Even when they come to Bahati, when they sit behind their gambo yaya ulaba fumbo. Because that is what they seek to listen to. They will forget about every other statement and they will pick one statement. Why? It serves their familiarity. It pushes them back to it encourages them to go back to their comfort zone. Nze kastandi bufumbo babulya. Wanji. Olumala ate kakati omwami tampa ssente toyogera. Bwobanga gwewasaba bufumbo bwokka n'ogamba nti Mukama nze kyonna kyondeetera kati to complaininga. Do you get it? But why are you in something that you would want to better and yet you are complaining? Do you see that is self-defeating? Now that is where most of your clients will want to be. That is their sweet spot. So that means as you come to talk about these issues, do you see how you're talking about them here? That's exactly where I want you. That is the Bahati DNA. Not in the middle. Extreme. Call a spade a spade. Omwana w'okubula ajja sigala nga wakubula. But alina okulabuka 95%. Bajja kulabuka. At least they will start thinking. Because why? They have children to pay school fees for. They have a life to live. They have other people to impact. Everyone, even that one that is refusing opportunities, that is chasing opportunities, can change other people's lives. Do you see that? There are other people that can change because of them. So that is where, when you come with your message, for example, the message of people making money, n'obagamba mulekerawo okusabiriza. Mulekerawo okusabiriza. Oyagala osabe buli kimu. Not everyone is going to give you, even if they love you too much. You will start to sound nagging. You will start to look desperate and look ugly. When you're desperate, you look ugly. When you operate from a place of peace, from a place of ninache nekolerawo, I have a vision, I have a purpose, I am chasing after something. Do you know the peace that comes into your mind? You even start glowing. You start laughing. You just flash plastics. Ennaku yakuyinga obungi nekuyingira that you have nothing to do. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about your clients. Yeah, so that is why the thing of saying, oh, kuchuka, oh, jakuba bulungi, I did not train you. Do not say Bahati trained me. It's okay katusabe okusaba kulungi, but call a spade a spade. Move with them on a journey. Some of you are going to be mentors. Move with people on a journey. Do not just give them too much of topical things and surface things. Of you will turn into a great coach. Turn how? You are trained into a great coach. And by the way, not by words, by even examples. So as you guys observe me and hear from me, you are taking the full package of impartation, of observation, yeah, and of the information. And if nothing of those things embody or tally, believe me, you will not get anything. You'll be like, she does not speak what she does. Do you see that? I am the one telling you that you can have the best marriage in the world. You can be the best coach in the world. You can be the greatest public speaker or keynote speaker in the world. Yeah? You can be in demand. And you can still coach and do therapy. And you can still lead organizations. And you can still nurture your children. And you can still serve God. Do you see that? If I didn't embody it, I would tell you, you can only be a coach. That is enough. Because how can you be a wife and then a coach at the same time? That is too overwhelming. How can you create content and then bring up children? That is too overwhelming. I am doing it. That means it is possible. All right? So you step out of your comfort zone. Remember, we were recapping number 3. Thoughts create emotional states. Thoughts create emotional states. A thought repeated consistently becomes an emotional atmosphere. People don't just feel discouraged randomly. Many emotions are connected to internal conversations. Internal conversations. When someone says, I can't sign up for that course, I will fail. Like they are prepared to fail. That is an internal conversations. So their thoughts have created an emotional state. And believe me, they will end up getting exactly what they are sowing and what they are thinking. If you enter marriage and you're like, marriage, okay, we are getting married so that the ancestors can be happy. But these things of marriage, after 2 weeks, I'll be out of it. And say, what? I will be out. That is an internal conversation. Guess what? Ajja kuchikukola because wachiitada. Yes. No, I have seen people who have been like that. I have seen people that Mr. Sabiti has even talked to, like prior to the wedding, 3 weeks or 4 weeks to the wedding. And like, you know what? If you're not careful, this is not going to end well. The internal state of mind. By the way, it's just the internal state of their mind. The internal olinga momboze nga toterera. And true to their word, 3 weeks after that, they were out. 3 weeks after a marriage. Do you see that? So the internal state is very powerful. So when you're coaching someone, you better look through them and see what conversations they're having with themselves. Because you will never outbeat that. Whatever formula you're to give to them, whatever prayers you're to give to them, for as long as they cannot overcome the internal state of their conversations, because those are strongholds. You know, we talk about strongholds and we think someone is bewitching us. Yeah? You're like, when people get money, people are talking about 100 million, 50 million. And say, if I can only get 500,000, 1 million, like my 1 million will be too much. That is an internal conversation. So every time you're about to go beyond 1 million, you will self-sabotage. Every time. There are people who are like, I don't think I will ever get a good husband, but they are praying for good husbands. They are praying for good husbands, but their internal conversation is totally different. So when your internal conversation becomes the magnet. So you attract only the ones that are not going to do you good. Do you see that? So that means we need to rewire that. Oh, I'm not enough. Oh, no one sees me. No one sees you. Are you sure? Everyone that is here is single by choice. Look at me again. If you're here and you're single, you're not single because abakazi babula n'abasajja babula. Ekyo tukikiriziganyeko. You are single by choice. You're like, I decided. Now, that day you know that it's like, I decided I want to be single. Why? Maybe the kind of person I want has not yet come. The American height has not yet. The dark chocolate has not yet. The one afu oluzungu munyindo has not yet. The one that chases demons and is highly anointed has not arrived. So, this is Simanyi Peter. Kale jukira ne kabogoza yabadde anzanyirako. Ozazanyirako ani? Azanyira kwani agoba mizimu jalumbe na mizimu miganda tasobola goba mizimu mizungu. you guys yeah. So as a coach, you must help your clients to identify destructive thought loops, because they are loops. They keep looping themselves. And when someone has a thought that their businesses will never work, they will never work. But why? Because we say the thoughts will bring activation into the interpretation, and the interpretation into the habits. Do you see that? And the habits will produce results. So that means they will not be enthusiastic. They will not wake up early. They will be like, this business is going to fall. I mean, I've started businesses before, so why are you starting one now? Keep your money or eat your money. Eh? Because if you still have that internal conversation that it is going to fail, it's still going to fail. Remember, there's a movie, not even a movie, it was a clip I was watching, and that this woman had a friend who told her that, giving birth is so hard. People die while giving birth. And she was 7 months pregnant. And guess what? She internalized it, that she was going to die. And guess what? She gave birth to a child, and she went into a deep coma, but the doctor said she actually died. And they say the husband and the pastor prayed for her. The husband called the pastor minus telling the pastor that the wife is dead. That they had even taken her out of the ward and covered all of her and put her in the corridor. Like they had taken the pulse and the heart capuche, there's nothing. And then the pastor invites the husband invites the pastor, does not tell the pastor that the wife is dead, has been pronounced dead, and tells the pastor, you pray for her. You pray for her. The husband called it a coma. You know she's in a coma, you pray for her. And the pastor was like, but she's not connected to oxygen, she's not connected to anything. And the man was like, pray, lay hands on her and pray. Indeed, when the woman of God prayed for her, she came back to life. But when they had a conversation afterwards, it's like, as in, what has been going on? She confessed that at 7 months pregnant, she listened to her friend who said that most of the women, 95%, even gave her a statistic, that 95% of the women die while giving birth. So she internalized it, and she said, I thought about dying every day of those 2 months that were remaining. Every day of those 2 months that were remaining. And I will tell you, there are so many women that have died in childbirth because of that. Because the enemy attacks you when you're most vulnerable. When you're the most vulnerable. Yeah? It's not like us who thought, a lot was happening, including witchcraft, but we were like, you know what? We are going to leave. Meanwhile, the thoughts will never stop coming. They come. And you're like, maybe something wrong is going to happen. And then after that, you're like, I tear it down. It will not be me. My children, I'm going to leave. My children are going to... So do you see how people rewire by speech? They rewire by changing their belief and renewing their minds. Yeah. Number 4, language. Language programs the mind. The language programs the mind. The words are neurological instructions. Yeah. The brain listens to repeated language. It listens to repeated language. So while your client is saying, my life is too hard, the brain is listening and it is capturing that and saying, yeah, I'm confused. I can't do this. I am overwhelmed. Do you see those words that we throw around? I am overwhelmed. And then the world, I feel stressed. The world, your brain keeps you in a bubble to protect you. Because now you have given it a job. To protect you in a state of overwhelmness, to protect you in a state of stress. Oh, I am depressed. People like talking about depression. Oh, I am depressed. Yeah, do you see that? That's why we say, even if you don't have money, don't say I am broke. Because your brain is listening to the language that you're talking about. And guess what? You can be broke and proclaim you're broke, but do nothing about it. Haven't you ever imagined why we say we are broke and then we don't do anything about it? Because your brain has listened to you and it is now trying to protect you in the state of brokenness. Because it is safer. You working hard, you promoting, you creating content is hard. So the brain does not want you to do the hard things. So he might as well tell you, sleep a lot more. Yeah? It might eat your comfort foods. Like chocolate is really nice. Some cake, like such things. They help you to get out of stress. Kumbe, your brain is actually lying to you. It's getting you worse. Just imagine you're stressed and you're eating sugars. And your body is screaming. It's saying, what is wrong with us? We should be drinking herbs. We should be drinking things that bring us energy, like beetroot. But you're here eating ice cream. What is wrong with this woman? So, your brain, your language programs the mind. So I need you to change your language because you're going to help your clients change their language. All right? All right. So, the repeated phrases, make sure that you help them. That one, don't say it. Even if it's your spouse, by the way. Even if it's your child. Take the bad vocabulary out of them. Tell them, do not repeat that word. Do not, because then you're warning them that is not worth saying again and again. And while it is erased, that is where they can find their freedom. All right, let's go to number 5. Emotions influence decision making. I think last time we stopped at number 4. Emotions influence decision making. Most decisions are emotional before they become logical. Yeah, they are emotional before they become logical. Like buying. People buy emotionally. People love emotionally. People quit emotionally. People hide emotionally. Do you see that? You avoid visibility. And then you quit whatever it is that you're quitting, whether a relationship, whether a marriage, but as in it's emotional before it becomes logical. So as a coach, you must understand emotional drivers. You must understand the emotional drivers. What are the emotional drivers? Shame. Do you know that some of you don't want to create content because you're like, I'm going to be ashamed when the people in my village hear this or see this. They are going to say, kano nyachi ku social media. Mbokanako kaina che katugamba. Do you see that? And then you start fidgeting. You're only thinking about one person, an ex that thought you are nothing, but you're not creating content because of that ex. It's an emotional driver. For some of us, it's the fear. The fear of where is this even going? How many people are going to see this? You know what? Let me stay hidden. Do you see that? Grief is an emotional driver. Insecurity is an emotional driver. Most decisions are emotional before they become logical. You're like, kamulageko. Half the time, go tabidaba. Wanji? Instead of you minding your business and building whatever it is, the life that you want, you're busy, or kolachi, or lagako. Do you see that? That anger can be an emotional driver. So whatever is an emotional fear, anger, shame, guilt, grief, insecurity, rejection wounds are emotional drivers. Rejection wounds. So do you see that the people that come to us come with a lot? It's possible they will come to you as a corporate coach. They will come to you as a wife coach. They will come to you as a woman coach. They will come to you. Anyone, when you go to speak, the moment you have these things at the back of your mind, you know that, okay, what I am facing is the people that I'm going to speak to are facing this emotional driver and they are facing this emotional driver. That means whatever it is I'm going to say, I must be able to untie them from these emotional drivers. Do you see how you can move masses? Do you see how you can unleash freedom amongst people, even people that don't know you? If you create content with this criteria, to know that emotions influence decision making. So whenever you're creating the content, you're like, you know what? I will address the emotional drivers, because you're not going to make emotional decisions that are going to make you bankrupt, that are going to make you lose yourself. Why on my watch? No, I am too concerned. I am going to make sure that I untie you from all emotional abandonment patterns. Some of us, they are actually emotion drivers. That you get attached to a man or to a woman because of the emotional abandonment, not because of love. And by the way, your brain will read it as love. And then you will go on in a relationship until you get to a place and you're no longer finding this person as good or you don't like them anymore. It's not that you just stopped liking them. It was an emotional drive. It was not a logical decision. You were running away from something and you ran into something. Do you see that? Yeah? So now I need you to be able to trace your own life, but also map out the life of your clients so you can be able to help them better. Unhealed emotions distort perception. Unhealed emotions distort perception. That is why some clients will resist opportunities, relationships, visibility. They will resist growth, even when they say they desire it. On the mouth, they say, I want growth. And then when it comes to doing, they do the opposite of the growth. Do we see that? The emotional drivers will always drive you to the opposite side of what you desire. You desire wealth, but everything you're going to do is going to make you broke. Yeah? You desire a happy, you could be a man or a woman, you desire a happy marriage, but everything you're doing is the opposite of what gives you the happy marriage. Why? Because every decision is emotional before it becomes logical. Number 6, the nervous system must feel safe in order to transform. The nervous system must feel safe in order to transform. People cannot transform effectively, whether you're coaching them, you're speaking, you're creating content, while living in survival mode. When you're living in survival mode, you have your clenched teeth. Your shoulders are up. Empower yali ekufuyeko bulungi. N'olyanga weekutte oti n'amanyongo okoze oti nga n'ekikondo ekifunyiza. You feel like kyekigenda okubugumya. Do you see that? Now, when people are in survival modes, that's exactly what they are doing. They are surviving. So they cannot do anything else that accelerates them, that moves them forward. Why? Because they're like, let me live to see another day. Let me live to see another day. They are thinking about not dying. They are not thinking about living. Do you see that? So that survival mode, when someone is in survival mode, you have to be able to help them to step out of the survival mode. And that means your words are the ones that are going. That is why public speaking and effective communication is very important, because you have to disarm them. You have to show them that, by the way, you can do all. That is why the Bible is incredible. The Word of God is incredible. When someone says, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, what do you feel? You're like, do you see that? You're like, I'm empowered. That greater is he that is in you than the devil that is in the world. If you want anything that resets the nervous system, go to the Bible. Go to the Bible. That I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. Do you see that? Before your parts were woven together in the sacred place, I predestined your life and I gave you a good ending. So by knowing that the ending is good, I can relax and do what I need to do while I am relaxed. I will pray while relaxed. I will practice my marriage while relaxed. I will bring up my children while I am I will operate my business from a point of relaxation. Have you seen someone operating a business or even doing a job at a point of survival? Buli kimu kimunyiiza. Buli kimu kikola ki? Kimunyiiza. When you are just surviving, buli akakuba ogamba kirabika nze gwe bagenda osooka okugoba. You're in your job, but you have clenched teeth and clenched fists like this because you're in survival mode. And some people have been in survival mode for a very long time. Do you know some people in marriages in survival mode? And as if you are a man in this place, it's upon you, the priest of the home, to be able to cause safety. Yeah? To cause safety to this person or to this woman by telling her, vision casting, telling her life is going to be okay. Yeah? Life is going to be okay. And then you behave in ways that show that life is going to be okay. Do you know that there are men who self-sabotage by saying, babe, we are going to be okay. While, yeah, they are doing weird things that are disconnected from safety. Do you see that? While they are either betting the money, not betting, but misspending the money. They are the saviors of the whole family. Yeah? So they are saving the whole family minus your own family, by the way. There are some people, and that happens, by the way, to also women. But I will tell you that sometimes men become self-regulated because they're like, you know what? This will be, by the virtue of that, they think the woman is a weaker vessel. So they feel like, you know what? She's not going to have so much sabotaging. But you know that a woman can sabotage. The Bible says that a foolish woman tears her own, destroys her own with her own hands. Ngomusajja likutenta hooks bwati. Survival mode. You can never make any proper decisions within the survival mode. So the dysregulated nervous system produces overthinking. It produces anxiety. It produces emotional shutdown. Have you seen people who shut down? Dysregulated. They're panic mode. Someone says, panic attacks. Yeah? They are dysregulated. That means, and let me tell you, panic attacks are very real. Some of you have faced them, but you don't know they are panic attacks. Every time you're thinking about impending doom, something is going to happen. You can even feel your nervous system shaking. You're not settled. Or like, abantu bali musanyu gwa maziga gakuyitamu. Yes. You're dysregulated. That means you do not feel safe. That is why in some marriages we tell them, by the way, it is allowed to even have a partial separation. Regulate yourself. That is if you're finding good help. Yeah? Not just give me space. Because asking for space also dysregulates the nervous system. Do you see that? But in a proper counseling or therapy system, you can actually be given space so that you can heal. Because being perpetually in the same environment as the hurt and as the abandonment, as the rejection, as everything bad that has been dysregulating you, you cannot heal from that environment. So sometimes we ask you to step away, you heal, while this person also thinks through whether they really want this marriage. And then they come back to you, they had better acted, or the way that they actually, if it's a woman, you better act like you still need this marriage. Because then we are putting you on, it's more like a monitoring system. Do you see that? So that you can get back on track and run by yourselves. That is if you go, don't go to any conventional counseling and think you're going to get, those results. It's very hard. It has to be someone that knows exactly what they are doing to even recommend such a thing. Not every counselor can recommend that. All right? So, dysregulated nervous system brings inconsistency. Some of you are inconsistent because you're in survival modes, even in content creation. Yes. You're in survival modes. And the reason as to why I tell you that you're in survival modes, even in your content creation, you need to come back into your own shell and be yourself. Do you see how we said she creates very good Trinity, the way her bio reads and her name reads? Yeah? You can see she's herself. How many of you have watched her content? You can see she's in her comfort zone, right? So the words are rambling. They are coming out. She's not thinking, I must keep to the script, and then there's someone that is watching me that is going to say that word is bad and that word is good. And then there is word, as in she overcame a certain type of anxiety over content, and now she will give it to you the way she is. And that is where we must all be. Do you see that? So that means even you as coaches in training and public speakers in training, we are moving from a place of dysregulated nervous system to a place where you can breathe and pop up a camera and say, I have nothing much to say, but apparently I was on this live and people are talking about Ebola, so let's talk about Ebola. And you are free. Do you see that? You don't have a script. No one is marking you. Who is marking you? Wanji? Who is marking you mbukati wayogedde kigambo kibi mbukakati wanedobozi lyanyenyezaamu kalinyenye yenze kalibatanya yenze gwe mufunye yenze azze ate gwali ku wall yange sinze nkuyisa. I am not the one who sent my wall to you. No, I just opened my wall, I posted my things, and I sat home and I kept peeping to see who comes, and you came. So how dare you? Mbosemanyi ekyo ekirobozi sounding ng'omusajja. okikolere ki ogenda kikyusa togenda kikyusa ate nkyero ejja kukomawo. Do you see that? We have to stop being dysregulated. And then a dysregulated nervous system brings avoidance. Avoidance. Have you ever seen someone and just took the next exit? Do you know that we become dysregulated sometimes around some people? Wali obaddeko awantu ng'okimanya embaga kwogenda ex wokwali wangi mwabalina ex mwembe muteerabiranga, yeah? Obanga ex yawe ate nga bakuwadde kaadi kuliko n'erinnya lyo, ate nga ex akusubiramu binene akusubiramu ne oba lwaki tupalapalanya nnyo? Ex teyakusabye ekirabo naye ekirabo era okireese. Kale bakuwadde kaadi naye tebagambye nti buli alina kaadi alina okujja. Genda okolyeko ice cream somewhere. Regulate your nervous system. But you're here putting yourself in an environment where abantu batudde naye oli awo okontola. Bwe weekubako ku buyi bw'otunulako ng'atabitegeera azinani eyakuleese wangi. So the dysregulated nervous system brings avoidance. So if you've been avoiding something, yeah, you need to ask yourself, why have I been avoiding this? Why have I been avoiding reading? Why have I been avoiding this? Sometimes we avoid what we know we must do. Do you see that? We avoid what? Have you ever avoided a conversation that you know you must have? Every time it pops up in your head, you're like, tufude. Lakuba njitandikirawa. Oba mugambe ki. Notandika okulowooza ye bw'agenda okulowooza ne by'agenda okuddamu tanaba kubikuddamu tanaba bikugamba wabula you're dysregulated. When you're dysregulated, remember we said the first thing, overthinking and anxiety. So you think for other people because as in kati when agenda nensaba omulimu, there is one I told, go back to your own where you came from, where they chased you from. Go back and request for a job. Like someone told me there is a job, I was like, go back, write your CV and go back. Bagenda kunsekerera bebagenda okusasulira renti wangi bebagenda okusa. So do not complain about rent if you're avoiding doing the necessary. Kakati my boss ajja kulowooza kati nabulwa ewo okugenda bana nti ensi yange yaggwayo kabakirowooze naye nga you have appeared with the job is there, and by the way guess what, they got the job and they were so happy to have them back. I was like, so bye nabadde ndowooza si bye balowooza. When I got to the place, actually everyone was hugging me. And they were telling me, hey, the job is there. You go and ask for it. When I reached, my boss was like, yeah, but then 15 people who had brought their CVs, but I'm not interviewing. I am giving you the job straight away. Imagine. But they were thinking the boss agenda close and see away with deyo. Tebaina wa kugende nsi bafundiridde. Sometimes people are not thinking. Actually, all the time people are not thinking about you. We have enough problems of our own. We are thinking about our own problems. So be informed and act accordingly. Be informed and act accordingly. All right? I want us to be able to finish. Yeah? A regulated mind receives transformation faster. A regulated mind receives transformation faster. Number 7. Repetition rewires the brain. Repetition rewires the brain. We are talking about transformation. Transformation is not a one-time event. The brain changes through a repeated kind of exposure. You must be able to expose to it. You want to learn a skill? Learn the skill. Learn it again. Do it again. Repetition or practice makes improvement. Yeah? You keep improving until you're perfect at it. Until now, you don't need to look at any manual or anything to actually do it. Yeah? So, and this is... it explains why the brain can create new pathways through repeated thoughts and behaviors and experiences. That is why when you train a young kid, even if it's a very hard thing that mature people do, but you repeatedly train them, they are open to getting that transformation. And they can be so good at something, and yet they didn't learn it. Have you seen kids that do math effortlessly? And they ask them numbers, and you're like, nange kenyine wazimbuza mu myaka jange sisobola kubiddamu. But why? Their minds have been repeatedly exposed to this. That now, as in, what explains a human being walking like a monkey? Because they've been brought up in have you seen those stories? that a person started walking, behaving like a monkey, eating like a monkey, because they were brought. Why? There was a repetition and the brain was rewired. They forgot that they were human beings and now they adapted to what they are doing. So that means you have too much power as a transformational speaker, as a coach, to change people's brains, to keep repeating and repeating. When I set up, and we are starting a content challenge. So some of you that were saying, Simanyi, content is taking too much of my time. 8th to 29th of this month, content challenge, daily challenge. The moment you are repeatedly doing it, at some point you'll be like, Coach, right now it's like I don't get nervous, and then I sweat, and then after that I get done with it. Yeah, like every time some of you are like, you're going to for World War. Whenever you're going to create content, you're like, yeah. So as a coach, you must reinforce new beliefs, assign consistent action, like I have assigned the challenge. From the 8th of June to the 29th, we are doing a content challenge. I will even send you the formats of content and everything, so that at least your job is to be able to align. And then encourage repetition. Like we encourage married people. Sometimes we tell them, as in, remind yourself, set the reminders, even to send her a text message, to tell her you love her. But she needs it. She feeds off that. She's a words of affirmation. So every time she puts on something, look at her. When she comes from salon, tell her your hair is nice. And let me tell you, the way you will tell the man to repeat those words, repeat them and repeat them again. Save Gundi. Save the reminders. She will not know that the reminder popped up. But when the reminder pops up, send her a message. At Sawa Munana, send her a message and say, hi, honey, I miss you, even if you don't feel it. Say it. Do you think she will know that you didn't mean it? She'll be like, oh. And then send emojis with the hugs. And then things are going to be fine. Yeah? But she doesn't know that you set an alarm to send a message. There are some of them, by the way, we go to a great length of even giving them the text messages to send. But me, I don't know how to be romantic. You don't know how to be romantic. You don't know how to tell your woman that you love her. So, an example, confidence is not built in one seminar. Confidence is built through repeated, courageous actions. Repeated, courageous actions. That is how confidence is actually built. Let's go to number 8. I want us to finish up very quickly before we turn the chapter. Environment shapes mental programming. Environment shapes mental programming. I am giving you all the hurdles that you're going to find in the coaching terrain, in the speaking terrain, in the personal branding terrain. People are influenced by conversations. Naye naavaayo nga luchuma buchumi. Yeah, relationships. People are influenced by environments, conversations, relationships, media. We all know social media is shaping people, culture is shaping people, and spiritual atmosphere. Yeah, to the extent that we know. Remember last time we talked about it. When someone is coming from Worship Harvest, you can tell that they come from. When someone is coming by doing what? What a shock. Yeah, what a blessing. You can tell. But that is now the shaping of the atmosphere where you are, or a spiritual atmosphere that your beliefs incline to a certain way. You will find that because they do a lot of business garage, there are a lot of business people that are coming from Worship Harvest. Do you see that? When you go to other places, you'll find a lot of deliverance. And that is their inclination. Yeah. So that means we are being influenced by mentors. Some of you are going to find yourselves speaking like me, not because you have intended it, but because you have listened to me long enough. Do you see that? And it naturally, you're a slow speaker and all of a sudden you start speeding up. Not because that is how you want it, but you have been exposed to me for a very long time. That is why I tell people, choose your mentor wisely, because they affect you. They affect you because the anointing flows from the head coming down. If it is rot that is flowing, it is rot that is flowing down to the mentees. Do you see that? You can say, for me, I'm going to pick one part of this mentor. Do you see that? One part of this mentor. Maybe they are good at business, but their marriage is in shambles. Do you see that? Believe me, you will be influenced about marriage as well, whether you want it or not. For as long as you are in their shadow for a very long time, yeah? So that means you get to pick and be very picky and say, you know what? Chesi sobole sigenda kuchitwala. Naye chenjagala ngenda kuchitwala. Yeah? I am going to pick certain things and put them in your box and say, these 5 things are very important. And if I don't find them in a mentor, I am not subscribing. Even if they are the best, I am not subscribing. I would rather grow slowly than subscribe to someone that will kill one destiny of my life while another flourishes. Because money alone is not enough. Do you see that? Money alone is not enough. So the daily exposure matters. Environment can either reinforce limitations or it can activate transformation. So those things, you must be able to ask questions, tough questions as a mentor. Who are you around constantly? Because you can see someone avoiding. I've seen some women, by the way, they are sabotaging their marriages. And then you're like, tell me your friends. And then they will tell you all their friends. And then I'll be like, do you have any pictures of their friends? You look at the friends, you look at what they do. And he did no wonder. Most of the times when the husbands comes in, most of the times they will be like, they will have a history of all their friends. They'll be like, oli yavuma abasajja, baba nebo nabona, oli yakolachi. And you can see the wife was a good wife. Yeah? But along the way, she got influenced. And for as long as she can get out of this environment, that is the transformation that she needs. To be able to make up her own mind. Yeah? Not that, because there are others, you're in a clique and they're like, tugende, mwami ojja mugamba, kale katumukubire. Do you know some friends can even get to the level of kumanyira your husband? And they're like, katumukubire tumugambe, kakati munange, Gloria fe tumulina kale tomunonya nnyo ali sefu. What kind of kamanyiro is that? Do you see that? Oloba ku influence nze bakututte chiro. And you don't have the guts to say no, because when I say no, they will chase me out of their clique. Let them chase you out of their clique. Be the rebellious one. Anyone that conforms too much has never amounted to anything. At some point, you know, do you see that? Yeah. So you ask, what content feeds your mind? Some people, you need to even look at their content. Some people don't know that they can regulate. They don't know. Omusajja alaba bulabi ng'ekyobwenzi kimulinnye naye nga buli lwateekako bamuleetera bali bwerere bokka. Olwo ali ku TikTok. Anyeenya kino, oli atunda kiri. Oli akola ki? Alenga mirengo je, oli akola ki? Kwegamba nga buli kyokka bannange abakyala. But you are feeding on that. It is informing your decisions and how you feel. Do you see that? And it is doing it in smaller doses that you will never notice that you're going off the radar. You should be very careful about what you see. The reason as to why some spouses start judging their wives' bodies or their husbands' bodies, it's because you have something to compare it against. If you had nothing to compare it against, you would not be saying anything is small or anything is big. Wanji? Some of you are quiet. But you have given yourself the leeway to be exposed to certain things. So they influence how you think. What atmosphere are you living in? What relationships drain your growth? During the iconic, some of you, did you do the sprints? Some of you still have the sprints on you. As in the relationships that drain you, the moment you put them down and you're like, whenever I'm around so-and-so, my nervous system is dysregulated. And you're like, do away with such people. First give them a pause in your life. And first be regulated and make decisions.